for over 30 years, serving as a head football coach from 1985 through 2002. Over his 18 seasons, Coach Sanford led the Broncos to 128 wins. That is over 1/4 of all Bronco football victories, qualifying for the playoffs in 13 seasons, including 2 state championship game appearances in 1996 and again in 1998, with 16 playoff victories. Tim Sanford, you will be missed.
Number 6, David Lopez, the ball carrier, tackled by number 55, Preston Varsity.
David Lopez, the ball carrier, to begin the second quarter. Unofficially a gain of, we'll call it 13 yards. Now the Broncos working right to left. They are approaching the red zone. They lead it 7-0. David Lopez with the only touchdown of this one, but the Knights have been playing some stingy defense on this particular drive. McGinnis will be in the backfield with a single setback. McGinnis wants to throw. He dumps it off to Lopez. Lopez will try to work around a defender on the far sideline. He's unable to do so. Penalty markers come from the back judge in a couple of other locations. Let's see what this flag's all about, Nate.
And a little bit more here on Sanford. Coach Sanford was recognized the Arizona State Football Coach of the Year in 1991, 1996, and 1998. His teams were 2-time recipients of the Arizona Football Officials Association Sportsmanship Award in 1997 and 2000. Inducted into 3 Hall of Fames, Coach Sanford is a member of the Arizona State Coaches Hall of Fame, the Brophy Sports Hall of Fame, and the National High School Athletic Coaches Hall of Fame.
Wow, very, very impressive. Gone way too soon at the tender young age of 69. His wife Ginger here in the pregame for the coin toss and certainly our pregame prayer, and what a fantastic pregame prayer that it was.
And it looks like there was a legal shift there on Brophy, which is going to go ahead and back him back up to what looks like the original line of scrimmage. No, excuse me, they're going to go and back him up 5 yards, make it a long 1st and 15, but a little bit more there on Tim Sanford, doing a little bit of research. Tim Sanford, if you didn't already know, he played for St. Mary's in the 60s, won a couple state championships there. Then he comes over, the 10-minute drive to Brophy in the 1990s and leads them to several state final appearances.
He was an incredible human being. Servant leadership at its best. 10:54 to go in the quarter. McGinnis back to throw. He fires over the middle of the field, and the ball's caught by his favorite target this evening. That's Jackson Ryan. Ryan targeted for the 3rd time tonight. That's his 2nd reception. And how about the velocity on that throw there by McGinnis? Put a little something on that one.
Like I said, McGinnis has great pocket poise. Tall quarterback, very large frame, slender. He has the athleticism to get around the pocket, and he has that arm strength to fire it in there. I really like what St. Mary's is doing, though. They're gang tackling. They're sure tackling to make sure and prevent any sort of run after the catch, any sort of big play opportunity. But as a defense, you can hold and hold and hold and try to bend but don't break, but for how long?
They're swarming to the football, doing a great job. That's a gain of 6. McGinnis to Jackson Ryan. Ball placed on the 29-yard line. And now Jason Jewell wants to talk things over, get his offense together, make sure everybody is on the same page. For Coach Jewell, now in his 3rd year roaming the sidelines for Brophy College. JJ with a storied career in his own right playing the game, and a longtime coach on the offensive line at Glendale Community College, a one-time gaucho, and was teammates too with Coach Lucero at one time, I believe, if memory serves.
Yeah, chemistry runs deep. I was giving him a little bit of a hard time myself. I'm a former Aztec at Pima Community College. 1 season only, the last season for the Maricopa College football programs, but giving a little bit of a hard time, and he had to let me know of the history between the two of them.
Yeah, we were mentioning before the game, that pregame prayer led by the pastor here at Brophy Prep, Juan Pablo Del Toro. Outstanding pregame prayer, and then everything is always for the acronym AMDG, Ad Majorem Dei Gloriam, for the greater glory of God, and that's what the Broncos wear on the backs of their jerseys, and of course they're wearing the patch to honor Mr. Tim Sanford with that TS on the back of their helmets. Just a fantastic tradition here for everybody here with Brophy Prep. Play action pass. Rolling out to the far side is McGinnis. He dumps it off to the tailback coming through, and that was Court Ostendorf. Ostendorf makes the reception, and he got the football in a way he could catch it and then turn up the field in a seamless effort move.
My goodness, as a coach, you see a play that you know is going to work, and you call it once and it doesn't work. Heck, let's go run it again. Just the same exact play where McGinnis had led his receiver too far behind him and he caught it but fell down for no gain. Let's run that thing again. Let's go ahead and pick up 9 yards and make it a 3rd and short, 3rd and manageable for a young quarterback. Fantastic job by coach there to go ahead and go back to that play.
McGinnis has a single set back to his right. That's David Lopez. There goes Young in motion. He joins the formation. They run it to Lopez. Lopez broke one tackle, got to the linebacker level, and he'll pick up a positive run. Nice job there defensively there by the St. Mary's Knights. Bobby Lewis, not only is he his punting chores, but in there on a linebacker job. Nice tackle there after a 3-yard gain by Lopez. He has been their bell count here tonight, Nate. He's getting the majority of the carries, and JJ told us that he would get some work tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And, Brophy's doing a fantastic job just staying on schedule while St. Mary's is currently trying to bend and not break here. And hopefully they can find some way to get them their defense off the field.
Leighton Duncan lines up near side. He goes deep to the end zone. McGinnis looks that way. Here comes the pressure. He'll go back the other side, and making the catch is the receiver, and that's the running back, and that is David Lopez as he takes it into the end zone for a touchdown. A 16-yard touchdown reception from Charlie McGinnis, and David Lopez is in the box for the 2nd time tonight.
Just an absolute beautiful setup. They go ahead and continue running off that quarterback zone read where he rolls out to the far side of the field and is looking for, a 10-yard out route, that corner to the back of the end zone. And coach here for Brophy, he sets up a beautiful halfback screen to the backside where Lopez had all of his linemen there lined up to make it a walk-in touchdown. A beautiful setup and an absolute, just iconic score there. I didn't see the setup until late, and that was just a beautiful play call.
Execution was fantastic. I wanted to double-check that. Did you get the number on the place kicker? Yeah, it was indeed 45. Connor Fury for the 2nd time tonight. His point after try is good. 8:40 to go in our 2nd quarter. It's 14-0 Broncos. It's David Lopez getting in the end zone 2 times here. And as you just pointed out on that last play call, they were looking towards the end zone, and it was a great sell job. They were looking towards Leighton Duncan, and you have to appreciate the ability for McGinnis to sell it as he looked that way to the near corner and then came all the way back, reversed the field. That was just fantastic execution. And I will say this, 2 things that went in their favor. 1, no calls by the officials, and then the patience for those linemen to stay in place so they didn't get any fouls there by moving upfield ahead of time, and that's usually what you see in that type of play.
Exactly. McGinnis did a great job. As long as he doesn't throw that ball over the line of scrimmage, then it is not an illegal man downfield there by the lineman. He did a fantastic job holding that ball until the last second where he can just go ahead and toss that thing across the field to Lopez behind the line of scrimmage, and then, the rest is just we all saw what happened there for Lopez. He went untouched.
So Eddie Jetton is the kicker here, 5'11", 175, and he's a left-footed kicker. Boy, he put a big-time leg into that one. It goes over everybody. The return man for the Knights was P.J. Lewis, and you can't use P.J. Lewis's speed when the ball's kicked 15 yards over his head in the back of the end zone, which means that's where David Glenda will get the football back, his team down 14-0.
Yeah, look for Glendo here to do a lot of the running. He had a great run. The one time he got the opportunity to run, he got a great 6-yard gain. Next play, there's a false start. Glendo here really has to rally his team. He's a senior. He is a captain, and he is the Mr. Do-It-All for the St. Mary's Knights. Look for him to carry the rock a lot on this drive, really pound them for a 10, 15-play drive to take back some of this momentum.
It'll be David Galendo under center. Back into that traditional wing T formation. Snap back. Galendo fakes it. He wants to run it. He does. He runs to the left side, runs along the numbers, and he'll take it out to the 30-yard line. That is a powerful run. Give him about 9, maybe 10. Let's see where they spot the football, but not a lot of inception there, Nate. Just hat on a hat. I'm going to block my guy. I'll take on my responsibility, and Galendo just kind of did the rest.
Yeah, but for St. Mary's there's only so much you can do, no matter the great block, if it's a hold, puts them back, 1st and 20 now, and really puts them behind schedule here. A team that does not throw the ball a lot. They pick up 3-4 yards of play and really grind out games. You don't want to be behind schedule. It's a good thing they have a senior under center that can, knows the offense very well and can put them into plays that they're going to be successful.
So that's going to back them up. Now it's going to be 1st down and 23 for David Galindo. Moving to the other side of the field is Luke Begul. Joseph Begul is another one of their playmakers. We have yet to see him tonight. And they give it to the first man through, and there's nothing doing at all. Absolutely getting stonewalled up front. That was Pompa. Pompa got rocked by Aiden Miller. Aiden Miller had 14 tackles last season. He's coming off a 7-tackle game against Centennial last week. In fact, the first time these two teams played last year, Miller had a assist and a tackle in that game. That was that 49-0 win by Brophy that renewed this rivalry. Back to the ground game for Coach Lucero's St. Mary's Knights. They try to run it in the middle. And again for Pompa, nothing doing. Too many black shirts there to just swarm to the ball carrier. Very little push up front for the Knights offensive line. Guys like Marquez and Philip Mashu, two talented guys, are getting stymied right now at that line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Brophy's doing a fantastic job just filling gaps. The wing tee works due to the fact that you have fantastic blocking offensive linemen that can down block and cut block on defensive linemen, but not only that, but the misdirection. You can't have misdirection if you have gaps filled. St. Mary's is not doing a great job widening those gaps for Galindo.
3rd down and a long way for Galindo. Took the direct snap, ran it left behind his left guard, and there was very little real estate to work with for Galindo. For Galindo, you look at the size of the young man, 5'10", 200. He's a two-sport stud. He's also a very, very good pitcher. And for Galindo, we mentioned 141 yards on 23 carries in that win over Combs. The average at 6.1 is impressive.
Yeah, and you really want to try to get Galindo here going, get his pads in front of him because he's got some size to him, and then you can set up some play action and some throwing here, and it's just not a great punt here by St. Mary's. Really, there's maybe a 25-yard punt from where the ball was kicked. Really struggling here on all 3 phases of the game now.
So Bobby Lewis will punt it about 4 yards deep in his own end zone. He skies this one, and as Nate pointed out, it dropped around the 20-yard line, and the Broncos are going to have a short field for their offense. 5:59 to go to the break. Stay with us for conversation with our newest sponsor, or the newest team member of the Zone 48 Broadcast Network. That is the Trey Clarkson State Farm Insurance Agency. We'll speak with TC at the break. If we can squeeze them in before that, we'll certainly try and accommodate TC in. The 25-second play clock is visible, but it's not functioning here this evening. So back to work is Jackson Ryan. Snap back to McGinnis. They give it to Lopez. He runs right, steps inside a would-be tackler, and then is finally going to be forced out by a whole bunch of white jerseys. Leading the way is Chris Horn the second. For Horn, he's coming off a 5-tackle game against Combs, and the punter Bobby Lewis also playing some linebacker in on that tackle as well to force Lopez out after a gain of 4. So one thing, Nate, we've seen for David Lopez is he's been productive each time he touches the football. He's always getting positive yardage.
Yeah, exactly, and it's just a good opportunity. You get your running back there out in space with blockers up front. It's always a good thing to see for Brophy. They're doing a great job spreading the ball, moving the ball outside the tackles, and really forcing St. Mary's to play sideline to sideline here. St. Mary's is going to get very tired, and that's the whole point of these outside zones, these halfback pitches out of the shotgun. Stretch the defense, find lanes underneath, and it's really going to open up the rest of this offense.
Juan Velasquez wearing number 60. He's the center for JJ's offensive line. 5'8", 275. He's got some sizes. McGinnis tries to use the hard count. Now he'll send Young in motion to the near side. Snap back with some time. Steps through the pocket. Throws outside. The ball's caught by the tight end Young at the 20. Bulldozes a defender and takes it towards the 15-yard line. How about Mr. Young? that big-bodied young wearing that 8'7". He looks pretty good with the football. 6'2", 220 pounds, and he was using those shoulder pads to take apart the secondary of the St. Mary's Knights.
Yeah, I could name a handful of tight ends wearing the number 87, all from college to NFL, that are just big bodies like this young man. Really understands how to use his body, how to gain leverage, and can take a 0-yard pass at the line of scrimmage and turn it into a solid 8 yards.
That was indeed a solid run. We'll call it a gain of 7.5. First and 10, another chain-moving catch. This time it's Young. McGinnis on the march in the red zone. Once again for the third time tonight. Long count, snap back. They put it in the gut of Lopez. He runs near side, stiffs on the tackle, stays on his feet, works down the near boundary, and he takes the ball inside the 5-yard line. Great running and a lot of tough running there by the tailback, David Lopez. 5'11", 175, the senior, picking him up and putting him down, breaking tackles and stiff-arming people along the way.
Yeah, I want someone to tell this kid that this game doesn't matter. The stiff arm that he just put on that young man of St. Mary's, that was just disrespectful.
That was a tremendous high school football play, to say the least. They break the huddle. We'll have 3 wide receivers stacked up on the far side of the field. Lopez is flanked to the left of McGinnis. He's the single setback. Now, there goes Young in motion once again. The wide receiver in the slot to the right is Jackson Ryan. Snap back. McGinnis to the end zone. Ball's going to be caught for the touchdown. Right in the end zone. Making the catch is Leighton Duncan. And Duncan holds on to that one. A 3-yard touchdown reception for Charlie McGinnis. And the Brophy College Prep Broncos back on the scoreboard here at the 4:23 mark of this second quarter. It's now 20-0. And that was a frozen rope from Charlie McGinnis.
Yeah, it is really just a rhythm throw. Him and Duncan have such a fantastic chemistry together. They've probably been throwing the rock around all summer long, all spring long, and just finding each other's rhythm. And it's just an awesome route run there by Duncan. Call it a flag route, call it a sluggo. You fake the fade and you come back to that pylon, and McGinnis just put it right on him.
Out of a Duncan Viscom snap, the Connor Fury point after try is right through the middle. 4:23 to go to the break. It's 21-0. The Broncos are shutting out the Knights. And when we did the we did the Barry Goldwater game last week as they took on the Scorpions from Desert Edge. Early scoring for the Scorpions made it difficult for Frank Lott and the Goldwater Bulldogs to stay within their offense. They elected to do so, and they were able to get out of that game, playing that football game under their own identity. The scoreboard didn't work in their favor. They lost 65-15, but they stayed true to what they do, and they were able to find some success running the football at certain points in that game.
Exactly, and you game plan for games like such. You know, there's obviously 2 completely different types of offenses here. You still, for St. Mary's, Coach Lucero, you game plan for this game. You know the plays that can work on film. They just have to be executed correctly. Offensively, you're putting yourselves in very long situations. Defensively, you're giving your opponent short field, so you really got to find something and a niche that's going to work here. Special teams is a great opportunity.
Jetton to Lewis. Lewis to the 10, 15 to the 10. And he's going to be taken down there. Special teams tackle by Ostendorf. And the tailback wearing 25 has been active in that pass game and on special teams right there, Nate.
Exactly, and they're just doing a great job getting players in and out, keeping players, relatively healthy, relatively, energized. St. Mary's, you can see there's a large bench discrepancy here. Brophy's stretched the whole sideline. St. Mary's has got a lot less players, and that may become difficult later in the game.
And that's what we kind of talked about in the open, just the evolution of, things that are happening here in the landscape and as far as urbanomics are concerned, right? It's just a whole new ball game in the year 2022, especially in the greater metropolitan Phoenix area. So much growth in the surrounding areas. You don't see a lot of people trying to find property in Phoenix anymore.
Exactly. You got the schools and the police departments opening up out there. Far East Valley in Queen Creek. The West Valley in Surprise is really up and coming. The whole metropolitan area is really just exploding.
So Galindo with his hands at his waist will make some adjustments up front, and he'll take the snap back. He'll leave it there, and it's going to be a run play, and there's nothing doing as the ball carrier grabbed the loose football that was placed in his gut, and then he got taken out immediately. Up there to make things extremely difficult for St. Mary's is the group up front for the Broncos, led by Mardale Rowe. Mardale Rowe is a disruptive force, to say the least. He has multiple FBS offers, including Arizona State University, who are here tonight to scout this young man. He was a talented sophomore. He's maybe growing into even a better junior. 6'2", 235. An FBS kid, to say the least. He is a dude. Snap back to Galindo. Wants to throw for the first time. Steps into it. Locks one down the field. The ball is going to be intended for P.J. Lewis, and it's broken up. Outstanding work in the secondary. That coverage provided by the Broncos. Aiden Miller give him a PBU, and that will force looks to be a 4th down situation.
Yeah, and the St. Mary's offense is really set up all entirely on the idea of deception. You're using the misdirection, you're using the play action to set up a one-play touchdown. And I'll tell you what, St. Mary's had it dialed up. They had 2 receivers streaking wide open. Aiden Miller just made possibly the play of his career in high school by getting back there and breaking that ball up. There is 2 receivers streaking wide open, including P.J. Lewis with his hand up saying, throw me the ball. Galindo there kind of put a little bit too much air under it and not enough distance.
So it'll be Cree Thomas back inside his own 50. And this time, the punt is a good one for Bobby Lewis. Back at his own 40 is Cree to the 45 as he tried to dance a jig, and then he ran it to the special teams work. Excellent open field tackle there by Paulo Gonzalez at the 45-yard line, and Thomas will hit the deck after a minimal gain. On the change of possession, Charlie McGinnis in this Brophy Prep offense will be ready to come back on the field, staked to a 21-0 lead here with 2:30 to go to the intermission. On a night that's the weather is cooperating. It is a very well-attended game. We're at Central High School at Ray Lang Field, and this place is nearly at capacity.
Yeah, and it's kind of really feeling like that little bit of fall weather with all the rain that we've had this past week. You really feel that the cool air kind of come up from the ground and really get underneath your clothes, and you kind of make it feel a little bit more like fall instead of the 115-degree heat summer that we've been accustomed to.
Rain, Nate. Rain?
Rain.
Where have you been hanging out? Well, there's rain, Nate.
East Valley has all sorts of rain.
What part of town do you live?
I live in Chandler.
Oh, okay. There you go. The Chandler Wolves are playing tonight. We've talked to the Commissioner of Officials, Mr. Brian Gessner, this evening. He's on his way to the Chandler game next. 2:30 to go to intermission. McGinnis back on the field. We'll have a new tailback to the right of McGinnis for this series. There goes Leighton Duncan in motion. He caught the last pass for a touchdown. McGinnis, he's going to dump it off to the tailback. And let's just double check. Maybe that is indeed our bell cow of the evening. In fact, it is indeed David Lopez. For Lopez, he caught 31 receptions last year. Good for another 214 yards. He had 2 touchdown receptions. Over 500 all-purpose yards for Lopez as a junior, coming off a 52-yard effort on 16 carries against the Coyotes from Centennial last week. He also hauled in 5 receptions for 77 yards.
Yeah, and here for Lopez, you really see the young man. He has the capability to being a every down back, especially in the earlier downs, first and second down. Probably help a little bit if you could work on his third down pass protection, but first and second down, he's kind of, you can use him out of the backfield. You can run him between the tackles. Very Christian McCaffrey type running back there.
For McGinnis, he has 3 wide receivers stacked up near side. Snap back to McGinnis. Wants to throw. He does. The ball is going to be caught by his favorite target. That's Jackson Ryan. And Ryan doing a nice job of putting his body in position. Excellent work with his physique there to make that catch and also protect the football as he was collided with the defense coming in and trying to put a pop on him, but he was able to secure the football and move the chains.
Yeah, if I'm St. Mary's here, Coach Lucero, I'm really looking to put some pressure on this young quarterback McGinnis and make him make a mistake, get you back in this game somehow.
Lopez works the right side and picks up positive yardage as he just carves off a 10-yard run as the Knights were trying to get themselves back in position defensively. A quick handoff to Lopez to just sweep the football running right and running behind the right side. Luis Gasilem Contreras, one of those guys over there. Just outstanding work. Strader Aston also. Oh, check that. I don't know if Strader's playing on the offense or not. Where's my right guard? So there is a timeout taken on the field. In that last contest, Brophy beat St. Mary's 49-0. That was the first time they played in over 12 years. And when you look at the history of Brophy Prep football, the school was founded back in 1928 by a man by the name of Jimmy Robinson. Some 10 years later, in 1938, St. Mary's Catholic High School opened up the doors for their school. Again, back in 1938. The program was for St. Mary's actually founded in 1917. But 10 years after Jimmy Robinson opened up Brophy College Prep, a man by the name of Jim Robinson opened up St. Mary's. And the question I've been trying to find out is Jim and Jimmy one of the same? And how ironic would it be that the same man opened the doors for both of these football programs? That would be just unique as all get out. This is meeting number 57, as we've mentioned. The Knights hold a 30-26 all-time lead here in this series. Lopez with a swing pass. 45-40, he runs out of bounds. Just coasting out of bounds and he'll kill the clock. He was forced out by the Knights. Chris Horn the second. That's his second tackle. For Horn the second, 6 foot 175. He's coming off a 2 solo tackle performance in the victory over Combs just a couple of weeks back. 1:26 to go to the break.
Yeah, and Brophy here, they're kind of in a 2-minute hurry-up offense. Lopez there did a fantastic job getting the yards that he could and then getting out of bounds, saving your timeouts in your back pocket, stopping that clock, and trying to put another score up here on the board before half.
That was an impressive, very cerebral-like play for Lopez. McGinnis gets the snap, rolls to the far side of the field, surveys the middle, has all kinds of time. Now he's just going to work up the boundary, and he'll finally get tackled. Making another outstanding tackle was Emerick Caricas. Caricas, that's the third time this evening that we've called his name tonight. The junior and all-region second teamer.
Yeah.
The Knights were 8-4 last year, and they were 6-0 at home, undefeated at home for St. Mary's. 2-4 in away games for Coach Lucero. It'll be the quarterback, Charlie McGinnis, working from the Knights' 40-yard line. He throws over the middle field. Again, the ball's caught. For the 5th time in this first half, it's Jackson Ryan. And I love the mustard that McGinnis has put on the football. He's really delivering a strike, and great handwork there by Jackson Ryan. Ryan, with his 5th catch of the night, has really demonstrated excellent route running and running that mesh concept made over the middle. Good hands again.
Yeah, with McGinnis, the more playing time he gets, the more experience and understanding of situational awareness that he will gain. On that first down play, he's looking, he's rolling out, he's looking, nothing's happening. It's okay to throw the ball away as a young quarterback. You don't have to make every single play. He ended up, getting a couple yards, but he stayed in bounds. He wasted about 10 seconds on the play clock there instead of throwing the ball out of bounds and living to see second down. Now, here, he leaves his receiver kind of out there to hang out to dry, and his receiver gets popped, comes up a little gingerly. You want to protect your receivers just as much as you want your offensive line to protect you. It's all a symbiotic relationship as an offense.
No doubt about it. 21-0, 42 seconds to go. Brophy methodically matriculating the ball down the field. 3rd and 1 from the Knights' 32-yard line. There goes Young in motion. McGinnis gets the snap, looks right. Has a receiver there. He's wide open. The ball's going to be caught, and taking it into the end zone for a Brophy Prep touchdown is the talented wideout, Jude Alvarez. Alvarez, 6'1", 175, unofficially, 32 yards away, and he was all by his lonesome.
Yeah, it was really just a blown coverage there. You had a 2-by-1 receiver set there with the tight end motioning over. Alvarez, he's playing from that slot, and all he runs is the flag route. All he has to do is get to that pylon, and he catches the ball, and I think he himself was surprised at how open he was. The safety helped over top with a post. It was really just a mesh concept, and it was another great, fantastic play design there by Brophy, and opportunity to get your best players in positions to succeed.
Connor Fury with the point after try. 34 seconds remaining in this open. It's 28-0. Thank you.
You call a really good game.
Thank you, sir. So Fury bangs it through the goalposts. And now for Charlie McGinnis in back-to-back drives for the Broncos, 2 touchdown passes. And it's 28-0 as we are just moments away from the intermission. Stay with me at halftime. Special conversation with our newest sponsor of the Zone 48 Broadcast Network as we introduce to you the Trey Clarkson State Farm Insurance Agency out in North Phoenix, a brand new gorgeous facility out in the Desert Ridge area. We're going to talk to TC here at the break. Got a little excited there.
St. Mary's here would absolutely love a fantastic kickoff return here. I guarantee you if they don't make this thing past 35, they're probably just going to need this one out, quick little run up the gut and try to take this one to half.
Eddie Jetton is going to pooch this one in with a lot of giddy up coming out of the backfield. Was the St. Mary Knight return man, and that's P.J. Lewis, and he does have a lot of giddy up. He is one of their true playmakers. And for Coach Vocero, perhaps there is some emphasis on trying to get P.J. Lewis and, of course, Joseph Begul involved in this offense. David Galindo is going to need some help in this second half if they want to get back in this football game.
Exactly, and right here, Coach Lucero has an option here and has a decision to make. Do I want to put my players in a position to where we can get a drive going, 29 seconds, opportunity to get points on the board, or are we going to try to just regroup at the half?
Power formation. Galendo's going to give it up to his tailback, and he's going to get dropped in the backfield. Julian Pompa got belted in the backfield. Shooting the gap for Brophy Prep was Devin Kennedy. Devin's dad, Jimmy, played in the show a few years back in the NFL, but for Devin getting his first start tonight, 6'3", 200-pounder, he gets a tackle for a loss, unabated to the tailback, wreaking havoc. How about Devin Kennedy? And we have yet to mention David Sweetman, but he's out there wearing number 52, and he too plays with a lot of nastiness.
Exactly, and right there, just a great middle linebacker blitz, shooting the gap, making a play. Great opportunity there and a great job by Brophy to end the half on a high note. Don't allow St. Mary's to carry any momentum into the second half.
Charlie McGinnis putting on a show. David Lopez with a touchdown rushing and a touchdown receiving. It's halftime here from Raylang Field on the campus of Central High School in the 57th meeting of these two programs. It's the Brophy Prep Broncos 28 and the Knights from St. Mary's 0. Halftime is next. You're watching Thursday Night Football on the Zone 48 Broadcast Network.
The world is changing. How business gets done is changing. Energy, success, even the face of entrepreneurship is changing. See how we're changing at bankofthewest.com/change. Bank of the West, the bank for a changing world.
With any deposit checking at Bank of the West, you can make any deposit, anywhere, in any amount per statement. And we'll waive your monthly service charge. Any deposit checking from Bank of the West.
Inside us all beats the heart of an athlete, determined to succeed. We push, we fight, we sacrifice. Sometimes we fall short, sometimes we just fall, but we get back up, stronger than before. This is more than a game. This is our goal.
NextCare Urgent Care is proud to be the preferred healthcare partner of the AIA. With over 35 clinics in Arizona and more than 100 locations nationwide, we're here for you with quality healthcare you can trust when you need it most. Our on-site labs and x-rays will save your family time and money, and some of our clinics are open until midnight 7 days a week. You can even pre-register for your visit using our Wahoo service. It stands for Wait at Home or Office. And you can check in online at urgentcareradio.com or call us at 1-800-URGENT-CARE.
know the best thing about Raising Cane's? Well, we have fresh, never-ever frozen chicken fingers. We also have extra long crinkle-cut fries. Then there's our crisp coleslaw and Texas toast. And, of course, you can't forget about our totally craveable cane sauce. But while all those things are definitely tasty, the best thing about Raising Cane's is simple. We don't make it until you're ready to eat it. Raising Cane's. One love.
Find a location near you by visiting raisingcanes.com.
We welcome you back to Ray Lang Field, home of the Central High Bobcats. I'm Kevin Derryberry alongside my newest business partner, and we would like to formally introduce the newest Zone 48 Broadcast Network partner, as tonight's game is now presented by the Trey Clarkson State Farm Insurance Agency, and I'm proud to introduce to you TC Trey Clarkson. Welcome to the broadcast, Trey, and congratulations on all the excitement that you have going on at your insurance agency.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for appreciate you having me. And man, what a awesome broadcast this is. I mean, I'm excited to be a part of it. Getting to see this thing live on TV, it looks really, really good.
High definition, baby, with replay and the whole deal, huh?
I'm like, how many cameramen you guys got out here? I mean, it's everywhere.
I tell you what, we do have a multi-person staff, and really you are a big reason why we're able to do this. And I want to know a little bit more about the agency, because I went to the grand opening out in North Phoenix, and let's not get this confused, because we have Desert Ridge, and then right next to Desert Ridge is an area that we call what?
High Street.
High Street.
Yep.
And everything is high on High Street, and your insurance agency is right there smack dab in the middle of it. Tell us a little bit how this got going for you, T.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a third-generation State Farm agent. My dad is a State Farm agent down in Tucson.
Mm-hmm.
My grandfather, 87 years old, retiring at the end of November.
Okay. At 87?
At 87.
Like, why is he phoning it in now at this point? I mean, we can't go another year or two?
He's like,
that's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's happy to go out with all three of us being State Farm agents this year. And, what a bless. I got a lot of support.
You know what I think, Trey, is that Grandpa, he probably wanted to wait for you to get in there and start your endeavor. And with Pops in the middle right there, I think, you're in great position. And again, you say 3 generations. That means that you know this business and you know the state of Arizona as well through and through. It's not an easy state to get insurance and to be in this business because of the competition, but being a leader at the State Farm, you have that. You're in that position to lead.
Yeah, and you know, I've learned from the best, and you know, one thing that I care about and my staff we care about, we just want to help people, and it's not about sales for us. It's just about helping people protecting their families.
Right.
And that's the conversations that we have every day. And we're in a great location.
Yes,
There's lots of growth in North Phoenix. So I'm really blessed to be in that location. And I grew up in Tucson, Arizona. I went to South Point Catholic High School, so it's an honor for me to be at this game.
Sure.
Getting to watch Brophy and St. Mary's, some schools that I played against back in the day.
a lot of Catholic tradition here in Arizona, to say the least. We had South Point on in our opener against Chaparral that first week, and it was an overtime thriller for us, so we were absolutely delighted for that. And one of the things that I feel like people need to know now is they need to be educated a little bit more. What kind of teaching are you able to provide, and how much instruction do you have to help these people? You mentioned that I want to help people, and you want to find the right fit for their insurance needs, but do you do a little teaching along the way?
Yeah, that's what we're here for. We're here to educate. And so when people call in to get a quote from us, they want a quote on their auto or their home, we're just going to educate them. We're going to talk about, hey, we're going to do some fact finding, find out a little bit about their family, and just find out what works for them.
Sure.
State Farm is the number one auto insurance company in the country, number one home insurance company in the country, number two in life insurance. It's a great company. It's been around 100 years. This is State Farm's 100-year anniversary.
Wow.
So another cool reason that I'm opening up my agency this year on their 100-year anniversary.
And that just goes to show you the tenure, the longevity of success that they've had. And for you personally, you have a backing of a 100-year company. That's pretty impressive, T.
Yeah, and I couldn't be more thankful to have the opportunity with State Farm and the backing of my family, and I'm just excited to get out in the community and talk to people about what we do, and would love to get calls from people that want to check on their insurance.
Sure.
If you don't have State Farm, give us a call. It'll be quick and easy over the phone. We'll have a quick conversation. We'll get you a quote. And get you out the door, and hopefully we can help you.
It's a seamless process, to say the least. And one of the things I think that's really cool about what you're doing, and being a sales guy, I've sold printing for many, many years. And for me personally, whenever I leave an encounter with a client or a visit or a meeting or the beginning of a new project or we're completing a project, I personally feel like it's the feeling that I get from my customer. And I hope that I leave a good feeling for my clients. And if that's the case, well, then I've done my job. And I'm sure that the product will speak for itself. But when I work with you, Trey, the feeling I get as a customer is second to none. I feel like, hey, this guy's got my back. He's looking out for me. He's got a family at home. He's got a mouths to feed. And he's doing a great job, and he's saving me money. And that's what I like about it. It was the feeling that I got working from you, Trey. And so I wanted to emphasize that. And the last point is that, let's be honest, just because you're in North Phoenix doesn't mean that you can't serve the entire valley, and that's statewide.
Absolutely, yeah. We market all over the state of Arizona, all over Phoenix, Flagstaff, Tucson, all over the state.
Congratulations to you. I encourage people to go out to your area out in North Phoenix. We call it the New Height.
Yep. Call us up. We're on High Street. Our office number is 623-432-1700. And we got a great staff and would love to hear from you.
623-432-1700. Please contact our newest sponsor. That's Trey Clarkson State Farm Insurance Agency. Trey, continued success, my friend. Thank you for helping make this possible for all of our student athletes and everybody in our community here in the great state of Arizona.
Awesome. Thank you very
much.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break. More halftime coming up right here from Ray Lang Field. It's 28-0. The Broncos in command here. Back out there this.
Jake from State Farm. I really want that personal price plan, so I'll admit it. I'm a bath bomb guy.
Dude, you do not need to get that personal. The State Farm Personal Price Plan simply helps you create an affordable price just for you.
For real?
Who's ready for their jazz bath? No?
Who is that guy?
Jazz bath? Call or click to get a quote today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
combo, please.
At Raising Cane's, we do one thing, and we do it better than anyone else. So why not let our food do the talking? Love in the window. Raising Cane's, only the best chicken finger meals. One love.
This is the letter I've been telling you about.
This letter is for you. From what I hear, you're supposed to be the next Tom Brady. What I'm about to say is important. Never let them call you the next Tom Brady. When they compare you to the GOATs, tune it out. When they say you're a 6th round draft pick, store it away. Compare yourself to nobody but the kid in the mirror. The one who goes all in, all out, and has the crazy confidence to know that who you are today is just a piece of who you're going to become. This letter's for that you, the one no one will see coming. Sincerely, Tom.
Live out your dreams, man.
Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Private, Christian, affordable. Visit gcu.edu.
We welcome you back to Ray Lang Field on the campus of Central High. I'm Kevin Neary alongside my broadcast partner, Nate Peterson. It's 28-0. A special thank you to our newest sponsor, that is Trey Clarkson State Farm Insurance Agency. We certainly appreciate our partnership with him. In fact, give my guy a call. If you're looking for an insurance quote for any of your insurance needs, call 623-432-1700. Back to live action here in a 28-0 game. It's P.J. Lewis inside his own 10, 15, 20, and he'll lower the shoulder, take it out to the 25-yard line, and then the line judge will throw in a flag from about 35 yards away. Nate, have you ever been drilled by a flag during any of your playing days, and have you ever thrown one? Because those things are weighted, and it is interesting, and it's amazing to see how far these guys chuck those things.
I've never been hit with a flag, but I have been hit in the head with a football between refs, tossing the ball back and forth. I caught it, just a little 5-yard out route in high school, and then went to the sideline to be subbed out, and I got drilled in the head with a ball one time, but never a flag.
So it'll be the Knights to begin the second half. Jose Lucero, their third-year head coach. He's 14-7 in his 3 years, the 19th head coach overall for St. Mary's, playing out of the 4A Skyline region. And for Coach Lucero, he was the region coach of the year just a season ago as they exited in the quarterfinals. They're down here 28-0. Brophy was 7-5 last year. They were 3-1 in the 6A Desert Valley. They have since moved to the Northeast Valley, and there's more work on the interior for the Knights. Not a lot of razzle-dazzle, not a lot of creativity as far as spreading guys out and dictating what the defense can do by what you'd like to do from a formation or a set standpoint. This is just straight downhill running for St. Mary's. They're going to stick to their identity, and if it works, fantastic. If it doesn't work, we'll catch you next Friday night.
Exactly, and I think St. Mary's, their biggest problem is they just haven't been able to get into a rhythm. They'd get a couple nice carries, and then they'd be set back with a penalty. And I think that's just been their biggest issue. They haven't been able to get their feet under them and their pads in front of them to start running downhill.
John Munoz has checked in. Low snap for Galindo. He evades the rush. He's going to try to break a tackle. He does, and he's going to somehow come up with some positive yardage. There was a late pop on the defensive back for Brophy. Cree Thomas got popped late, no call, but how about David Galindo? There's no quit in that young man, and what seemingly looked like no play, stuck his foot in the ground and then was able to slip through the defense before the secondary, Jack Sebald, came in out of the cornerback position and secured the tackle.
Yeah, he's got a heart of a warrior. He'll never, ever stop and does not fear you. He will put his shoulder pads down and try to run you over any opportunity he gets.
3rd and 2 from the 20. Snap back to Galindo. He's going to try to fight for first down yardage. He needs some help. He gets the push, and he's going to have it.
First third down conversion tonight.
That is the first down for the Knights of the second half. And looking at some numbers here, they did not have a lot of first downs in that first half. And Nate, are you indicating that was their first down of the evening?
Yeah, and that's exactly what an offense that's struggling needs. They need a drive starter. If you don't have a drive starter, you don't have the ability to pick up that third down. You have a 28-zip deficit at halftime. This is what's going to allow St. Mary's to find a little bit of rhythm now.
They'll work from the 23-yard line. That's their own 23. Galindo's going to fake the option left, and he'll run right behind his left guard, right along the hash marks. He'll pick up positive yardage for the Knights. We'll call it a 4-yard gain, but they are moving the football here. What kind of adjustments do you think that Coach Lucero emphasized at halftime?
I think it was really just, stay on schedule. Quit with the silly penalties, the drive killers and the drive stallers, and just stay on schedule and stick to the game plan. Coach Lucero is a very, very good coach, and he knows what he's doing. It's just his players aren't staying on schedule, and they're hurting themselves mostly.
Back to the ground game, nothing doing this time. A lot of pressure in the backfield from the front four. That's Tony Tabor's front four. Tony Tabor, a longtime coach, a head coach at Desert Mountain. He coached Mark Andrews to the National Football League. Coached over at Mountain View for a number of years. 28-0. Broncos pitching the shutout. The last 3 meetings, it's been 63-0 Broncos, 58-6, and 49-0. From the gun, it's Galindo. Pump fakes. Now he's going to try to get through that traffic, and he's unable to find any kind of room to roam. And he's taken down once again a trio of Broncos there to make the tackle.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest struggle. Biggest struggle for Galindo is that he plays quarterback, but he has a running back's mindset. He has a running back's mentality. He wants to run between the tackles. He wants physicality. It's third and long. You have to make a play there instead of just giving it up for a short gain.
On the last tackle was a sweet tackle. That David Sweetman in on the plate. All-region second teamer, an impact player in his own right. Punting formation once again for the Knights. Here is Bobby Lewis. It'll be Cree from the 40, 45 with a seam. And he'll take it into St. Mary's Knights territory. They'll slam under the turf at the 35-yard line. And a solid return by the special teamer, the return man, Cree Thomas. And one thing about Cree Thomas, other Brophy Broncos brass would say that Cree Thomas is a pretty interesting comp to Ben Morris. Ben Morris now playing his collegiate football at Notre Dame. He's a Golden Domer. Zach Swanson on this team a year ago is now playing at the University of Texas. And then other guys have also made their way to playing at the next level. 28-0, 7:43 to go. On the 35-yard line of the Knights, first possession of the second half for Charlie McGinnis and company. Ossendorf in motion. It's Lopez with a carry, running right. And Lopez forced back towards the inside of the hash mark. He'll be taken down after a 9-yard carry. And David Lopez picked up right where he left off in that first half. Just gliding behind his blockers, letting that offensive line set up, and just working it to really flawless execution.
Yeah, he's really just reading that off-tackle hole really extremely well. He's getting great blocks out of his receivers in the outside, but also just there's so much running room. There's so much in the middle, up the middle, because they've been able to just spread this defense out so well and wear them thin. They're getting tired out there. Their offense has not been on the field very long at all.
Ossendorf in motion again. They pitch it on the pitch to Lopez. He works the sideline, breaks it inside, and he's going to take the ball all the way inside the 5-yard line. Another really, really nice run, a very patient run for Lopez, and perhaps his longest run of the evening as he takes it towards the 5-yard line. So we'll call it a 22-yard run for David Lopez as he approaches a 100-yard evening.
Yeah, and Brophy's doing a great job calling up this halfback toss out of the shotgun to the weak side or the strong side of the play, and they're just setting up blocks well. They're getting in front of bodies, they're creating room, they're pushing and exploding off the ball, and they're just giving Lopez all the green grass to run.
First and goal to go from the 5-yard line. There goes the tight end Young in motion. Long count for McGinnis. He's going to keep it himself, and McGinnis is going to get into the end zone, and he's going to score a touchdown. He got pinballed around at the goal line, but he finally broke the plane, and that'll be a Brophy Prep touchdown. A 5-yard run on a quarterback keep by number 4, Charlie McGinnis. And the junior at 6'3", almost 200 pounds, is in the box.
It's that sneaky athleticism again. You run and run and run, and all of a sudden the quarterback pulls it one time and no one's expecting it, because McGinnis here, he has that sneaky athleticism and he has that ball carrier vision where he can find the hole just as well as Lopez does. And he does, and he is rewarded off of the Lopez work early and often.
The snap is back. It's a low snap, and getting the hold down was Jackson Ryan as Connor Fury buries that one through the night sky for the 35th point of the night. 6:09 remaining from Central High. The Broncos lead at 35-0. And you look back at the history of Jason Jewell's program. Scooter Melander, a longtime successful coach here, much like Coach Sanford, and they've had a really long list of outstanding coaches. Coach Melander defeated St. Mary's 7 times in his 10-plus year tenure. Coach Lucero and Coach Jewell are watching Brophy Prep and St. Mary's play a really exciting brand of basketball a couple of years back, and they decided to, Coach Lucero, buddies with JJ, called him up and said, hey, what do you think about getting this rivalry back going? and here it is some 2 years later. Obviously, COVID changed everybody's season in 2020, but now this is the second time in as many years these two schools have played each other, and it's fantastic.
Exactly. There's nothing better than seeing your schedule every year and being able to make a circle a game and say, I want this one. This one means more than all of them. And that's exactly what St. Mary's probably did to Brophy, and likewise, is circle this game. This game means more than any game combined.
Nice kick there by Fury as he blasts that one past the return man. P.J. Lewis goes into the end zone. That'll be a touchback, and by rule, the Knights will go back to work down 35-0. At the 6:09 mark of quarter number 3, they'll begin work at the 20-yard line. These schools started to scrimmage a couple years back, and then they started to get a little bit of life. It was a well-attended scrimmage, and they started again begin that narrative, and they went to the basketball game, and they started putting one building block on the other, and ultimately they decided to renew the rivalry. They had not played each other for some 12 years before they finally got together last year. For Brophy, their first postseason cap came back in 1971. Out of 36 postseason visits for the Broncos, that is pretty impressive for them in their tenure. They went to the playoffs 14 times in a row, Nate, and they also have made the postseason 25 of 27 years. That is very, very impressive.
Yeah, and it just talks about efficiency and just building a culture. Brophy, you ask anyone across the valley, they know who Brophy is and what Brophy brings to the table. A long tenured success out of this program. And St. Mary's, they, for a long time, were the big school of the valley. St. Mary's had a very long story tradition of winning and excellence, and many coaches, including Pat Farrell, who is widely known across the valley for his success in this program as well.
No doubt about it. Galindo takes the snap. He needed one. He got 3. It's a chain-moving run for David Galindo.
And I will say, Coach Jewell here, he's probably very relieved of the way that his defense has come out and met in front of the challenge of St. Mary's. St. Mary's, this triple option, this wing tee, it's not easy to defend, especially when you have injuries on defense and younger guys playing. We talked with the coaches earlier, and they're running a 4-2-5. They have, five corners or 5 defensive backs for the speed to make up for this wing tee in the misdirection, but this defense has come out and met this challenge head on.
Jeff Barker, the line judge, throws the flag. Encroachment assessed to the Brophy Prep Broncos, one of the few mistakes that JJ's team has made here this evening. 35-0, inside 5 to play in the third quarter. You mentioned Pat Farrell, longtime tenured coach at St. Mary's, a lot of history, 23 years in fact. For Pat, he went 209-67 in his 23-year campaign. State champions in 1995, they went 14-0. Again, a lot of tradition in the early years for St. Mary's football and also Brophy Preparatory. Think about some of the St. Mary's Knights alums. Steve Bellis, of course, longtime and very successful coach in Hamilton. He played at Notre Dame. How about Andre Ethier, a stud baseball player for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Channing Frye, a world champion with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Jared Bayless, Gabe Lasada most recently. How about Terry Kennedy, a longtime catcher for the Padres and Giants way back when. Reggie McGill, Damon Pieri. I mean, it is a really impressive list. Even Tommy Nunez, longtime NBA official out of St. Mary's High School. So it is tradition rich, to say the least, Nate.
Yeah, it's just the pedigree runs deep, and there's just so much rich history here, and it would just be an absolute shame if it's not celebrated. If this rivalry, for some reason, due to conference alignment and scheduling, does not continue, it would be an absolute shame just for the fact of just the rich history that we see and the rich history that we have kept for so long.
No question about it, Nate. How about Ignacio Marquez? He's the guy that's starting on the right side of the line, and during the cadence moved over to the left side. Movement that time up front for St. Mary's, so that'll push it back 5. And you get a little positive momentum for the Knights, and then one of the blocks falls over, and you got to place the blocks up again and start over. But Coach Lucero remains patient and unified with his game plan.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been part of these games where, you just dislike the other team so much. I've been part of rivalry games where, you've blown the other team out, and then the next time that team blows you out. And I guarantee you, Coach Lucero, he pulls open the tape and he takes a look at this tomorrow morning, and he sees the opportunities that were there. One guy misses the block. One guy false starts, and, just looking at how the play was going to set up, it was going to be a home run. There's just so many opportunities that were just missed by St. Mary's.
Galindo, the ball carrier, ran into Court Ostendorf and company. Minimal gain. They call it 2. Second and 13 for the Knights' 40-yard line, working left to right. They're down 35-0. 9 minutes gone by here in this third quarter. You can hear the sweet sounds of Journey playing in the background. Don't stop believing. Galindo on a play fake. Wants to throw. He does throw, and the ball is incomplete. He was trying to put the ball in the hands of Chris Horn II. Outstanding coverage provided by the Brophy Prep Broncos' Jack Sebald. Sebald defensively in the area, but that Galindo pass just too far for the wide receiver to bring it in for Horn II to haul that one in.
Yeah, and you can tell Galindo, he's a fantastic baseball pitcher. He has such a strong arm, but he has a frame of a running back, and, it just depends on how you're going to use him. Rolling him out, getting him on the run, and throwing a pass like that, he needs to work on his accuracy, because throwing a football, contrary to popular belief, is much different than throwing a football.
3rd and 13 from the 40. Snap is back to Galindo. He wants to throw. He does. He lost it down the field. He wants Lewis, and it's incomplete. The closest defender there for the Broncos was Carlos Estrada. And so that'll bring up a 4th down. It'll be 4th and a cab ride here for the Knights. Ball still on the 40-yard line. Clock is stopped with 2:37 remaining in the stanza. And Coach Lucero has elected to bring on the punter.
And just the way that this offense is ran, and the way that Galindo finds success is pounding the rock and running the ball efficiently, which then is going to set up the throws, set up the play action passes, the misdirections, as we get a great pop there. See there, I can't get a number on that one. But to finish my thought here is Galindo's used to just putting balls on receivers, finding wide open receivers with 10 yards around them, but Brophy here is doing such a great job bottling him up and making him so ineffective that Galindo has to try to throw receivers open, and he's not used to doing such.
Yeah, they are in uncharted waters as far as their offense is concerned. And it is commendable for Coach Lucero to stick and stay. And when you think about if you're Brophy, how you're going to defend the wing tee, and it's all about spilling them towards the sidelines, just eliminate any kind of A, B, and C gap runs. And Brophy has been really stingy defensively up front tonight. Tony Tabor's group has done a nice job.
Exactly.
There goes McGinnis. They hand it off. Start to go to some other players here for Coach Jewell. McGinnis took the snap, but we do have a new ball carrier. In on the play defensively for St. Mary's. It looked like Preston Blotsky was one of those guys down in there. Carlos Estrada was the ball carrier. For Estrada, playing in his second game. That was his 5th carry of the year. 4 for 30 and a touchdown. He scored the only rushing touchdown of the season before David Lopez got in the box twice tonight on the ground and once through the air. He's got a 3-touchdown evening. Young to the edge, snap back. McGinnis wants to throw. He steps through the pocket. Now he wants to run, and he's going to go nowhere. Great pursuit to the football by the St. Mary's Knights. Henry Fierro leading the charge as he combined on the stop with a couple of other white shirts. But good discipline to stay at home and wait for that to develop and force the issue on McGinnis.
Exactly, and this St. Mary's defense, they've done a fantastic job tonight just rallying to the ball, getting all 11 halves around the ball, and sure tackling. It's just the fact that this defense has been out here for so long. They're getting tired. There's not a whole lot of rotation. There's, you have your 11 to 15 guys that are going to be playing defense, and they're probably exhausted at this point.
You know, you go back to the idea of why do you want to play this game, and I think for the communities involved in the tradition of both these programs, I think it's just admirable of Coach Lucero and Coach Jewell to want to continue this tradition on, even though when you see the scoreboard and it's not quite in favor of St. Mary's, but perhaps a game like this can change the tide in some way in that idea of growth. People want to be part of rivalries like this. There are some great ones here. Even when you look at Arizona State and U of A, it's a fantastic rivalry. Now, I want to take it to the NAIA level. Why isn't the ACU Ottawa game more of a talked about, hyped up? That is the nasty, nasty game. And you know that, Nate.
Yeah, and I would like to say my final senior year is the only year that ACU's ever put one up on Ottawa there, coming from a 30-point fourth quarter comeback.
Unbelievable.
And just really just shocking Ottawa there. But Ottawa's a great program, and it's really just it's little brother and big brother. Who wants to be who for ACU and Ottawa? And as of late, Ottawa's been the big brother. They've had the more accolades. They bring in, some of the better athletes, and they have the better record overall over the last couple seasons. And ACU is really just trying to live out of their shadow and be their own entity. And, rivalries are great. It's the reason we play sports.
It is. And it's what you make of them, and it's what you do in them that really make those rivalries what they are, historically speaking. 41 seconds to go. Galindo to the air. Lost it downfield. The ball is incomplete. P.J. Lewis lost his footing on the far sideline, and that ended that play just as before it began. Tough break there for P.J. Lewis.
Yeah, and you may see Galindo kind of open it up here. Coach Lucero definitely has probably a wide range of pass plays based off of his misdirection, his play action in the playbook. And Galindo being a senior, he's very fluent in this playbook, so I would not be surprised that they kind of open it up here more and get their playmakers out in space to make plays, especially against kind of a little bit younger of a secondary that's been banged up this week.
The Knights playing without all-region and 4A all-conference defensive back Mason Aguayo, who graduated a year ago, as did Thomas Swingle, and of course they lost their quarterback Nick Martinez, who was a big-time playmaker. There's Galindo running in between the tackles. And he is a load. You mentioned he's a running back, and maybe he is a running back body, but he's also got that size of a nose tackle as well. He is quite a specimen, and he's extremely gifted, and he's very athletic, and he runs hard.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I would not be surprised you line up him on nose tackle, and he could play a 3 technique like anyone. He's a very, very versatile player. And, if you had 11 Galindos on an offense, imagine what you could do with not only the athleticism and the pure intangibles, but the heart of a warrior that young man possesses.
The Knights play out of the 4A Skyline region, as we mentioned, and they have the likes of Gila Ridge, Lake Havasu, Deer Valley, and Greenway all in their region. So when you look at it on paper, the Knights are set up to have some success in that region.
Exactly, and over the last 11 games, they've been 7-4, and they've been very successful. And, it's a program that is willing to win.
We've played 3 quarters here on Thursday Night Football on the Zone 48 Broadcast Network. We move to the fourth quarter. It's 35-0 Broncos. Back after this short timeout. As we change quarters and we change directions, 35-0, final 12 on the Longines scoreboard. It's been a pretty impressive run here tonight for the Broncos. They're trying to get their name in the win column here, register their first victory. I've been impressed with their longevity. I mentioned Scooter Melander, 13 years at the helm here, 113 and 52 for Scooter Melander. Now the head coach at Eastmark.
Yeah, and Brophy kind of, to start their season, they're 0-2. 2 reasonable losses. A loss to O'Connor 24-10 and then Centennial 28-7. They really just needed one of these games to get their feet under them and figure out what's going to work.
Brian Cole leads the O'Connor Eagles. They beat Red Mountain last week in an impressive win. There's David Galindo running with the football. And as we talked about the difficulty of bringing Galindo down, as he just picks up those legs and puts them down, he runs with a lot of authority. And he runs with power, just burrowing through that line. He picked up after contact, he picked up about 4 yards there, Nate. And that's impressive once you get belted and then you still are able to take the crowd with you for another 3 or 4 to move the chains. That's a really tough earned 5 yards for Galindo.
Exactly, and as a scout, someone looking to build a program, and you look at Galindo's game and you see a kid that doesn't run east to west. He runs north and south and he falls forward. You put a little star next to his name and you look for him later in the season.
Pampa to the edge as he works up the far sideline. The best run of the night for the St. Mary's Knights, as their contingency is still here and very well represented, but a few people have filed out. But a nice ovation for the Knights fan base here tonight.
Yeah, exactly. And Pampa, this is the first time we've seen him with the ball in his hand, and that's the beauty of having games that are such like a blowout like this, is you get players the ball that usually wouldn't get the play based off of how the game has gone. Their game plan wasn't supposed to have them in the game, but now they get the opportunity.
Julian Pampa, a gain of 19 yards for the 140-pound junior. Longest run of the night. And it'll go back to Galindo. Galindo to the edge. It's Bagul. And Bagul gets strung out and gets taken out. Strong defense on the edge there. It looked like 92 was involved on that play. Mardale Rowe.
Yeah, Bagul there, if you look at the replay, he really gets a hat there on Pampa. And, Pampa, he may have never been hit like that before, but, he's probably ringing just a little bit. Some great downhill defense.
We're talking about some of the history and the lore at St. Mary's. How about Ed Doherty? They brought the Ed Doherty Award back, equivalent to the Heisman Trophy in the high school ranks. Ed Doherty, a long-time contributor to the AIA and the high school community. Galindo rolls out, wants to throw. He's going to tuck it, and he's going to keep it, and he gets to the line of scrimmage, and that is it. Tremendous pursuit to the football for Kevin Ontiveros, the senior defensive lineman, on the hustle, going sideline to sideline, was able to meet Galindo at just before the stick. In fact, give him a TFL.
Yeah, and for Brophy's defense, it's kind of the good thing about playing a quarterback like Galindo is that he has such a strong running capability that he relies on his legs more than his arm. And so when you're running sideline to sideline adjacent or parallel with him, you don't have to worry about what's behind you, because you can run downhill and make a play because you're more worried about what he can do with his legs than with his arm.
3rd and 10 from the Bronco 25-yard line. Snap back to Galindo. Finds a little bit of running room. Moves the pile. He's got the first down. And the Knights in the red zone for the first time this evening at the 8:51 mark of the fourth quarter. They're on the move, trailing 35-0.
Yeah, and you could see a couple of different players rotating in and out there for Brophy, getting a little bit of inexperience, some experience there on the defensive line, and that just goes a testament how well Brophy's defensive line had played all game long, and now that some young guys are getting in there, they're kind of getting exposed a little bit, but learning.
Galindo powers his way with a 12-yard run, 1st and 10 on the Bronco 13-yard line as they work from the right hash. Galindo uses the count. There goes the man in motion. He gives it to the second man through, and he gets dropped, and the ball might have come loose. The ball appeared to be out. In on the tackle was Mardale Rowe, once again, all-region performer. Clearly a disruptive force is Mardale. That's why he has multiple BCS offers. And for Rowe, last week he had 7 tackles and a pass defense. And in fact, the first time that he played St. Mary's last year, they've done a pretty good job as Coach Lucero and the Knights to defend or protect and block Rowe. But Rowe had 4 TFLs, 5 tackles, and a couple of sacks in that win last year. So he was clearly disruptive.
Yeah, and now you can go ahead and add a TFL and a forced fumble to his stat sheet against St. Mary's as well.
Change of possession. with a 35-0 lead. It's Charlie McGinnis back to work. This time this drive will start inside his own 15-yard line. Penalty marker thrown. How about the tradition here with the cheerleaders? They dance to the music. It seems like it's somewhat choreographed, and we heard the sweet sounds of Neil Diamond and Sweet Caroline here at Central High School moments ago.
Oh yeah, it's just been a party since I walked in here around 5:30. The smell of just popcorn in the air, the excitement, the buzz in the stadium, and just the overall presentation by the Brophy cheerleaders has just been absolutely amazing.
When we talk about some players that graduated for Brophy Prep, all-conference DB and kick returner Ben Morrison. We talked about Swanson and Taj Hughes. Elijah Warner, Kurt Warner's son, the Hall of Fame quarterback, played his high school football here at Brophy. Elijah Warner, he's now playing Division I college football. I want to say Temple. I want to say he started last week for the Temple Owls. Ground game again for Brophy. It is Estrada, and Estrada gets around the corner and turns upfield and picks up some really positive yardage.
Yeah, and then just a couple more players that, I found it was interesting that, ran through this Brophy program. You had Trent Murphy, who was a first-round pick in the 2014 NFL Draft by Washington.
Yes.
And then Devin Allen, who actually went to college with his little sister, Carissa Allen. If you don't know who Devin Allen is one word for him is speed.
Olympian.
Track star, 110-meter hurdle NCAA champion, and as well as just recently played some preseason football with the Philadelphia Eagles.
And is an Olympian as well. He's a Olympic hurdler. No, he's a 100-meter champ, I believe. He is an absolute burner. Just lost his father not too long ago, but Devin Allen definitely graced this campus at Brophy Preparatory, not here at Central High School, but Devin Allen, in fact, you mentioned him. I want to say that he actually is on a practice squad for the Philadelphia Eagles if he was able to stick. We have to do some digging on that one.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Philadelphia, I would hope they hold on to that kind of speed because somebody in the NFL will.
Yes, you're right about that, Nate. If you have that kind of speed, they're going to find you. Jason Jewell, the 13th head coach for this illustrious program. And there goes the action man. That's Nicholas Rodriguez. And running with the football, running laterally right to us, running in your living room, if you will. That was Estrada again. Oh, yeah, looked like 34 carried the football. So for Estrada, he'll pick up 4 yards. He'll be shy of the necessary line to gain to move the sticks. It'll be up a 4th and 2 from their own 21-yard line. They'll go back to Osprey. P.J. Lewis back deep.
Just great opportunity
here. He's going to come up and grab it at the 50, 45, slips a tackle at the 47-yard line. Make it the 42. And they'll knock him to the turf there. Once again, excellent special teams work by the Broncos. In on that play, special teams-wise, it appeared to be Carlos Nowakowski, a 5'9", 180-pound outside linebacker on the special team unit. Nate, what was it like to play special teams? If you can't be a skill guy and you want to play football, special teams is the answer.
It's the best way, as a college athlete or even just a high school athlete to make the bus. You want to make that travel list, get on special teams, be an absolute monster on special teams that they have no choice but to play you in the rotation. Go down there, make big hits, recover fumbles. You can be a force on special teams if you want to.
You certainly can. It's a choice. It's a lifestyle. 1st and 10 for the 42-yard line. It's Galindo working right and then trying to move the football right up the middle of the field with little success. He'll pick up a yard, maybe 2. The Brophy Bronco defense have been stiff all evening long, and they've been able to answer the challenge. And man-to-man up front, we talk about controlling the line of scrimmage, some emphasis on keys to winning the game. And I think the Broncos have been able to do that on both sides of the football. They have won the line of scrimmage tonight.
Oh, yeah, and it's just the burst off the ball. They're getting to the backfield for St. Mary's, and they're controlling the line of scrimmage and dictating how the game's going to go.
Galindo, another power run off that Wildcat look, but that is their offense. Brophy College Prep out of the 6A conference trying to pick up their first win of the season. Going into tonight, I already mentioned the scores, but the Broncos have outscored St. Mary's 170-6 in those last 3 games. Go ahead and make it now 205-6.
Yeah, and it's really been one-sided, but like I said before, the last 11 games, St. Mary's has been 7-4. They're still a winning program, and it's all about the culture and where you go from here.
It is indeed. They certainly win in basketball under head coach Damon Lopez and his dad, David Lopez. There's been a lot of success at St. Mary's, even on the baseball diamond. They've had, we mentioned Andre Ethier, but Brophy College Prep now playing tackle football in their 76th year.
In on the stop for the Broncos.
The last shutout for Brophy, I want to say it came back. No, I'll double check that one. I know the last time that Brophy was shut out was against Chaparral in week 4 a few years back. It was a 35-0 defeat. And it's on my note here somewhere.
And it's looking like Brophy forces another St. Mary Knights turnover there when St. Mary's is finally trying to find some traction, and it looks like another fumble there at the bottom of that pile.
Yeah, unfortunately in this case it's Galindo. Galindo just couldn't get the snap. And as he tried to take the snap and lunge forward and time that snap with some mojo, he didn't collect the football, and that was not a good thing because now the ball is turned over. Another recovery by Brophy. It will remain Charlie McGinnis at quarterback. For Coach Lucero, he's the 19th head coach in the lore of St. Mary's, an alum at St. Mary's. You always like the guys that went to school there, played for Pat Farrell and company, played for John Rodriguez, now coaching or used to coach at Sandra Day O'Connor. The coaching carousel and that coaching fraternity, Nate, it's large, it's very vast, but yet teeny as well.
Exactly. And the biggest thing is you would love your guys to come back that, put so much heart and soul into the program as a player, because you can also expect that out of them as a coach. They're not going to, bounce from school to school. They're going to give it all to that program that gave all to them. And it's really good to see just the coaching tree of how everything falls out and how long guys stay at certain places and so on and so forth. But, just having a coach that actually cares about the program no matter what position he's coaching, it's always a great thing to see because it shows success for the program.
Martinez, the ball carrier. He got dropped after a 5-yard gain by P.J. Lewis, and Martinez gets the call again here. And how about the front four of the Knights on a run blitz right there to greet Martinez. Nothing doing at all. One of those guys in there was Bobby Lewis, and the lead tackler was Emric Carriquez. He's had himself a fabulous game here in adverse conditions for the Knights.
Yeah, and this is another great learning opportunity for St. Mary's, and to build going into section play is, what do we do when we face adversity? When our offense isn't getting the job done, what can we do on defense to, force our offense into better situations? And this is just an opportunity to get more things on film and to go from there.
The Knights will have another Freedom game. They'll visit the Crusaders from Northwest Christian. They'll get Dave Ennis's group. And I can tell you this, Coach Ennis will have his group ready to go. That's going to be a great 4A battle between St. Mary's and Northwest Christian. Then Coach Lucero's group will get CDO at home. They'll get Post and Butte again. Deer Valley, Gila Ridge, Greenway and Lake Havasu. Of course, all Skyline Region games, but they will be prepared. They'll drop to 1-1 after tonight's loss. But they'll get back up on the horse and go after it again next week, as we talked about. They'll take on Northwest Christian. Inside 2:40 to go. 35-0. Broncos with the football. And they run up to Martinez. He runs a sweep right. And again, I credit Coach Lucero's no-quit night defense right there to take out the ball carrier. Great pursuit by Chris Horn II. He's had a phenomenal game.
Yeah, and I give it an immense amount of credit to this St. Mary's defense. They haven't given up just the huge plays. There was that one, about 30-yard pass play there early in the first half that, offered blown coverage. But other than that, St. Mary's has forced Brophy to earn every single yard.
Yeah, take away the 19-yard run by Pompa, and it has been slim pickings when you look at the score sheet. Here's P.J. Lewis trying to make a play, and he's got nothing to do. Outstanding special teams work put in by Nicholas Rodriguez as he slammed Lewis to the turf. That is no easy task. $1:51 to go. It's 35-0.
Yeah, and right there's another great opportunity for a player that, maybe he's getting the majority of his time as a gunner on the punt squad. You just put a great hit on a great receiver receiving that punt. The coaches are going to make an asterisk on that. They're going to realize that this kid wants contact. He wants to be physical. He wants to play. Great. Let's line him up at outside linebacker and see what this kid can do in practice.
Great point. The Brophy Broncos 64-52 in the last decade. The Knights one more shot offensively, down 35-0. David Galindo remains the starter at quarterback. They run it on a sweep to Julian Pompa. They tried that same play where they got the 19-yard carry, but the Broncos again waiting for Pompa to glide right into their arms, and they take him down to the turf. A 2-yard gain for Pompa, 1:33 to play in this contest. The last playoff win and the last championship, if you will, came back in 95. We mentioned that. That was 27 years ago. That was Pat Farrell. I mentioned it already, but they went 14-0. That was the last state championship for the Knights. St. Mary's, a 6-time state champion in 1967 and 68. Nothing like going back-to-back, Nate.
Oh, yeah.
They go back-to-back in 84 and 85, and they won it again in 91 and then in 1995. For Brophy, they are a 6-time finalist, 1972, 96, and 98. They won it in 2005 and 2007 over Scooter Molander. And they also were in the state title game in the year of 2008. Brophy went undefeated at home last season. That's impressive.
Oh, yeah, and this home atmosphere for Brophy is just absolutely astounding. And, it's a great culture to continue to build, to get back to those winning ways, as they're only a couple years removed from a winless season.
The Broncos are playing without arguably their best secondary player tonight. Billy Eastep is out. He's banged up with a shoulder. Eastep, honorable mention, 6A All-Conference last year. So, he's a football player as they go back to the ground game for Pompa. And for Eastep, he's a two-sport stud, part of that state championship lacrosse team a year ago for the Brophy Broncos.
Yeah, and we had pointed him out pregame, and I'm just looking at him, and, that kid is absolutely just built, almost chiseled out of stone. He has a great lower half to him. You can tell he has so much power, and I can almost guarantee you Brophy severely misses him, but by the scoreboard, you would have expected that he would have played.
Yes. The Broncos will take on Highland next week, and that'll be a tall order. Here goes Pompa. He's loose. 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. That'll be a touchdown for the St. Mary's Knights. And the shutout is over.
It's a great opportunity there. You see Pompa, he gets lost in the traffic there. Same play, little misdirection, end around to the right side, and he just get lost, and all of a sudden with his kind of speed, he just needs one opportunity and he can just take it. As he continued running on the sideline, the gap just continued to increase on the Brophy defenders.
Unofficially, we'll say 62 yards to pay dirt for Pompa. Great execution by the blocking up front. They finished their blocks, and indeed, it might be second and third teams out there in the secondary for Jason Jewell's club, but you have to credit the no-quit Jose Lucero's club, and Pompa housing one from 60-plus yards away to get on the board.
Yeah, a play like that is something that you can build off of. You can go ahead and put that in your back pocket as Coach Lucero and see that this is the play that works, and this is the player that wants to play. There may be 30 seconds left on the clock, but this kid's running hard. This kid still wants to make it happen.
The point after try is up and good by Bigul. Out of a snap from Iggy. Our new score with 32 seconds to go, it's 35-7. Brophy Prep has this game in hand. We're talking about Ed Doherty. Ed Doherty is now a part of the Gridiron Club with the likes of Don Kyle and Rob Yowell. Those guys brought the Ed Doherty Award back. It is phenomenal. Please follow the Gridiron Club on Twitter. These guys are amazing, and they have really done an outstanding job to grow awareness about Ed Doherty. Ed Doherty was 53-14-1 in 6 seasons here at St. Mary's. And he is and was instrumental in the growth of high school football here in the great state 48.
I can imagine Coach Lucero here is going to tell his kicker, just pop this one right over the top of the hands team here, and let's see if we can make something happen.
It'll be a fair catch for the Brophy Broncos on this kickoff. Ryan DeConing on the return. So, Nate, tell me about the Latin awareness that you have. You roll in the R's, the Lucero.
Being from, the old Pueblo out there in Tucson, I, public school, kind of forced to take Spanish, but, just being around the Mexican culture, I absolutely love the Spanish culture, the food, the entertainment. Some of my best friends have enriched me in that kind of culture and, kind of just accepted as my own. My best friend, he comes from a Spanish household, and his mom considers me her white son, and so it's something I take full in stride.
Outstanding.
So a little bit of victory formation here, and just a fantastic all-around, three-phase win there by the Brophy Broncos, and an opportunity for St. Mary's to look at the film and, figure out who are the guys that want to play. I can guarantee you Pampa is going to be first on Coach Lucido's list there on who wants to play. Obviously, you still have the main man, Mr. Do-It-All, number 25 there.
David Galindo.
I can't believe I forgot his name, but David Galindo and Pampa are going to probably be a 1-2 punch that you're going to see for the rest of the year for St. Mary's.
Well, the 57th meeting between these two fantastic programs, Brophy College Prep and the St. Mary's Knights. We go final here at Rainling Field on the home of the Bobcats from Central High School. Brophy 35 and the St. Mary's Knights 7. And for the Broncos, they win the 57th meeting, and now they pull in the all-time series 30 wins to 27. So it's 30 to 27. St. Mary's manages to hold on to the all-time lead. And it really goes back to the line of scrimmage that we talked about. Coach Jewell's team pretty much dominated both sides of the football, and they sure had an outstanding performance from David Lopez tonight. 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 receiving, good passing out of Turner McGinnis, and just an overall outstanding defensive game plan for the Broncos tonight.
Yeah, I really felt that if St. Mary's was able to generate some pressure on Brophy's offense, especially with a quarterback with a little bit less experience there, and get Brophy's offense out of rhythm and off schedule, St. Mary's there was able to do it at times, but wasn't able to do it consistent enough, and just allow Brophy to really take control of this game and swarm it from the start. And a 35-7 win is the result.
It's a big win for the Broncos. They are now 1-2, and it's a huge lift for Jason Jewell. We mentioned Highland is next week. That will be a tall order for Coach Jewell's club. And then Coach Lucero will take on the Crusaders from Northwest Christian. They too will have a really, really tough battle next week. For us on the Zone 48 Broadcast Network, we will be off to Apollo High, the home of the Hawks, next Thursday night, as the Mountain Ridge Mountain Lions will take on the Apollo Hawks. And we will be very interested to see Mr. Muhammad tote the rock for the Apollo Hawks. He is one outstanding running back. And we would like to also thank our presenting sponsor, Trey Clarkson State Farm Insurance Agency. For all of your insurance needs, contact Trey Clarkson Family Insurance Agent. For our outstanding broadcast crew here tonight, for all of our guys, including Joey Mascaro and Kat Jones, our technical producer, Mr. Greg Jones, my broadcast partner tonight, Nate Peterson. For everyone here, I would like to just finish up by saying this. It is necessary and most important, and it is ideal to have your physical health. Your physical health accompanied by your mental health is indeed imperative. It only takes one conversation to make a difference in your mental health. For everyone here on the Zone 48 Broadcast Network, I'm Kevin Garyberry. Until next time, so long for now.